You guys want to know more about my traumatic brain injury. Now, I haven't been putting it off. I have made multiple attempts to film this. It's not hard to talk about, but I guess I'm just really bad at it. Here's my final attempt, and I will do the best that I can to give you a brief, very brief summary of my traumatic brain injury. Keep in mind that it's not going to be detailed or anything. I can't even come close to remotely covering even half of it. If I were to do that, we'd be here all day. I don't remember a lot of this. The majority of what I do know is from what past teammates, coaches, friends, family have told me. Not all traumatic brain injuries are a one-time thing. Like, people hear TBI and they think car accident or, one-time injury to the head. And that is not always the case. My traumatic brain injury was mostly from sports. I had a few other concussions along the way from other things as things progressed. So my first concussion was, I believe, my junior year of high school, field hockey game. It's really weird because I don't remember this happening at all, but I remember the feeling of not being able to breathe, if that makes any sense. What happened was I don't know if you know, but field hockey sticks they're like this, and then they have a curve at the end. A girl went to drive the ball, which just means she was in the back of the field and she went to nail it down across the field as hard as she possibly could. And I went to dive for the ball at the same time. Long story short, she missed, connected with my throat. Her stick hooked my throat and it dragged all the way up, and then it hooked my chin. So I actually got multiple concussions at the same time. I got one from whiplash from the stick dragging up my throat and whipping me back like that. And then as I went backwards, I went so hard and so far that I went backwards and I smashed my head off the ground as well. Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I still have a gap of skin missing under my jaw, and I have a scar, but I cover it up with makeup really well. It actually wasn't the worst concussion. I've had much, much worse in terms of impact, but that was the one that really kind of got everything to snowball. For those who don't know, like, every concussion that you have makes you more susceptible to the next one. That's why at this point on, literally, you could poke me in the head and I would drop like a stone. No joke, my second year of college, I got hit with a heavy duty construction paper airplane. It was an innovation engineering class, and they were just trying to have us write creative ideas on the back of a paper airplane. One of them hit me in the class and I had to be rushed to the hospital. So it doesn't take much nowadays. But yeah, so that first one was that field hockey game. Most of the other ones were field hockey as well. That was the only one that I know of that was a unique. The rest of them were just straight trauma to the head from either the ball or the stick. This is one of the balls that broke against my head. The girl went to, again, drive it down the field and hit the ball, and then the ball connected with my brain. The entire ball is, I don't know if you can see because the lighting's weird. The entire ball is actually split in half. The inner core came out. It wasn't too bad. I was only unconscious for 3 or 4 minutes because this is an indoor ball. Indoor field hockey balls are much, much, much better than outdoor balls because the center is actually just a gigantic cork on the inside, so it could have been a lot harder and a lot worse. I don't know why I kept this. Now that I see myself making this video, I feel like that's really tacky. I think the majority of my head injuries were from, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of equal, half and half between the balls and the sticks. I had a couple from diving into the goalposts. I didn't actually dive headfirst into the goalposts. That would be dumb. And I was better than that. Field hockey is a pretty rough sport, more so than people think, especially when you're playing at better levels, more than just high school level. People body slam you pretty hard. So that happened a lot. I don't know. I mean, it's my field hockey concussions were all, aside from the first one, which was a little unique, they're all pretty straightforward, just got nailed in the brain and, unconscious for a while, throwing up for a bunch of days, the usual. It's really frustrating because after a concussion, people just say, oh, well, you're not allowed to do anything that involves or requires any sort of thinking or concentration. So I couldn't read, I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't go to school after those concussions. My junior year of high school, it was in the beginning of the year. I think it was end of October. It was towards the end of the season. I was out of school for so long. I was really lucky that it was, my junior and into my senior year because I would have been screwed otherwise academically. I was completely out of school for a couple of months. And even when I started going back, I was only allowed to go back for my first period and I wasn't allowed to do anything. And that went on for about another month and a half. And then I started really slowly getting back into things, but I wasn't back to being a full-time student after those concussions, I'd say for probably almost 5 months, because even when I was in school, I wasn't able to do stuff for a really long time. So that was really frustrating, especially considering the fact that that really wasn't even close to the worst of my concussions. Senior year, then I got some more freshman year of college, then, some more after that during a few tournaments in the summer. It just kind of kept on coming. And, I had problems, I did, but it wasn't disabling, and I wasn't diagnosed with the PTSD yet. I was already showing symptoms, and we kind of suspected, but never really bothered to go get the diagnosis until things got really bad. I'd say it wasn't until my freshman year of college that things really got unmanageable. That was the reason I left Orono, was just because I was getting to a point where I couldn't even live on my own anymore. I needed more help. So I moved back home, and then I got into the architecture program at Augusta, and things kept getting worse pain-wise. As you guys know from one of my recent videos, I also went through a suicidal period. I actually went through 3, but that was the one where I called the suicide hotline and no one came. And let's see, the end of my second year of college in architecture, that was when I dropped out, because that was when the peripheral neuropathy started, and I lost feeling in my right side. And at the time, I didn't have any control. Like now, you can see in my videos, I have full control of my arm. I have very little muscle weakness, and I'm pretty spatially aware, and as long as I'm watching and I'm concentrating, I can control my limbs on that side pretty well. But at the beginning, it came as quite a shock, and I panicked. I didn't really know what to do. I do remember when I started feeling it for the first few days, it was just numb and tingly, and I was sitting in class, and it was like 6 at night, and I was driving home, and I realized that I was struggling to drive because I couldn't fully feel the pedal. And then a couple days later, it just was 100% numb from then on. And it's kind of been that way since. I lost the ability to draw, so I did have to drop out of architecture. I don't know, a lot of other things set in, the PTSD, the TBI diagnosis once things got disabling. This was one of the few concussions that was not sports related before the wheelchair, but after the mobility issues began. I was using a cane at the time, and I tried to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I think I had Bugsy. I don't remember. Guys, I'm so confused. Anyway, I tried to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night with my cane, and I fell on the hardwood floor with my head. I have no idea how long I was out. My parents found me. That was when I lost all ability to read and write, had to relearn from scratch, and I've relearned, but I still struggle. I have a lot of processing issues now. After all the head injuries, I have pretty severe memory loss, if you can't tell. I mean, there's definitely a lot more. I also have many symptoms and conditions that are like subcategories to the TBI. I'm not really that open about, not because I'm uncomfortable, but just because it's so complicated. It's like to have TBI and then have like 10 other things below it, and then plus the PTSD, plus the neuropathy, everything, pseudobulbar affect, and like a crap load of other problems. So like I said, this video is pretty vague. I'm sorry, I honestly don't remember much. There's so much. There's too much to put into one video. Just remember that not all traumatic brain injuries are a one-time thing. Mine was built up over a period of like 6 years. I think this video probably created more questions than it answered. Like I said, I'm not uncomfortable talking about this stuff, but I just don't do it very often. There's so much that I didn't cover. I just told you about like 2 of my head injuries. I'm sure you can see we got a slightly new recording setup. I got sick of looking like an orange Oompa Loompa in all my videos, so I decided to buy some new white light bulbs. A lot of people have commented that when my camera is further back, the audio is I don't know, hard to distinguish and just doesn't sound very good. So I decided to hook up my microphone. So instead of, oh, sorry, that probably was really unpleasant. So now we're not recording with the built-in microphone in my camera. So hopefully this is a little bit better. We're really close to the GoFundMe goal for my new wheelchair really, really close. I'm so excited. If you'd like to donate, head to the link below. If you want to share, that would be great. Thank you to everyone who has already shared or donated. Also, remember that we're going to be doing 2 Q&A videos coming up soon. Go head to our Service Dog Vlog Facebook page, and there is a status for each one. One is going to be specifically wheelchair Q&A, and one is going to be just a general fun Q&A. The only rule is no service dog or disability related questions on that one. It's just going to be like for fun, completely for fun. So you can head to the link also below in the description and just comment your questions on there on that Facebook page, not on here please, just because it gets really confusing to have all our questions in different places. Yeah, let me know what you thought of this recording setup, if the lighting looks better, if I look less orange, and if the audio was easier to understand and just less icky. I hope this video was interesting, though I feel like it probably wasn't. I need to go. I hope you have a great night.